All right, let's start 4A Division 1, where there's some churn here. We will take a look at the 4A rankings we've got up here. Waco La Vega remains number 1. Argyle number 2. Lampasas number 3. Top 3 unchanged. Up from 8th to 4th is Dumas, who put a hurting on Seminole, 48-8. Corpus Christi Miller up a couple of spots to number 5. El Campo up 3 spots to number 6 after their big win over Gonzales. Corpus Christi Cal Allen loses to San Antonio Cornerstone. They drop from 4 to 7. Port Lavaca Calhoun loses to Waco La Vega. No real shame in that, though. They do drop from 5 to 8. And 2 new entries into the rankings. Midlothian Heritage checks into the rankings at number 9 after their big win over Wichita Falls Hershey. And how about Lindale? Number 10, the Lindale Eagles are number 10 with a 32-27 win over Kaufman. They check in at number 10. Over to 4A Division 2, where the top 5 are unchanged. Carthage, Pleasant Grove, West Orange Stark, Wimberley, and Gilmer. West Orange Stark did not play, so they remain 0-0, but Wimberley and Gilmer were all winners, plus Pleasant Grove and Carthage. Then the changes has happened. How about Graham? Up to number 6 in the rankings after a 50-14 win over Alvarado. We will talk with their coach coming up here in just a moment. Waco Connolly vaults up from unranked to number 7 with a big win over Sunnyvale. Silsby was idle. Their game with Viter was canceled because of the hurricane. Geronimo Navarro was also idle. Salina, a loser to Melissa this week. They dropped from number 6 to number 10. Over to 3A we go, where there's a little bit of change. In 3A Division 1. Malakoff, an overtime, drops a overtime heartbreaker to Grandview for the 4th time in 3 years, basically. Yeah. They drop 1 spot from number 4 to number 5. In their place, the Wall Hawks, who looked awful impressive with a win over Eastland. Rockdale's up a spot from number 7 to number 6 with a 40-14 win over LaGrange. Gladewater drops a spot after losing to Gilmer in a 4A team. Jourdanton vaults 2 spots to number 8 after a win over Natalia. Into the rankings, the Cameron Yo-Yomen. 21-16 winners over Mahia. They are now number 9. Hallettsville drops from number 8 to number 10 in the rankings. Your top 3 unchanged: Brock, Grandview, and Pottsboro. Over to 3A Division 2 we go, where the top 5 completely unchanged. Gunter, Canadian, Dangerfield, Paul Pewitt, and Newton, all unchanged. Paul Pewitt and Newton did not play. Pewitt for virus reasons. Newton, I believe, for hurricane reasons.
Yes.
Because 2020 is just the stinking worst. George West checks in at number 7 after a big win over Corpus Christi West Oso, 38-3. Big win for the Longhorns. They are up to number 7. Lexington vaults into the top 10 at number 8 with a win over West, 25-14. Watch out for those Eagles. They are growing up in a hurry. Lorena drops Franklin to 0-1 and drops them from number 8 to number 9. Abernathy loses 26-6 to Shallowater. They do hang on to that number 10 spot, down from number 6. To 2A we go, where once again the top 5 unchanged. Shiner, Refugio, Post, Cisco, and St. Augustine remain the same. All of them were winners with the exception of St. Augustine, whose game with West Sabine was canceled. Hawley up a spot to number 6 after their big win over Roscoe. San Saba, the Armadillos, up 3 spots from number 10 to number 7. And the bottom 3, all new in 2A Division 1, the Groveton Lions with a 36-16 win over Lovelady. New Deal in at number 9. They are the real deal, as one great man once said. They got a big win over Smyre. And Thorndale moves to 1-0 and into the top 10 with a 24-14 win over Dawson. To 2A Division 2 we go, where the top 6 are I'm sorry, that's not true.
Whoa, lies.
No, the big one here is Stratford. Stratford, their loss emphatically to Spearman drops them out of the top 10. And in their stead, Wellington moves up a spot. Windthorst moves up a spot. Wink moves up a spot. Albany up 2 spots with a win over Colorado City. Falls City up 2 spots to number 7 with a win over Three Rivers. Munster up 2 spots with a win over Alvoid. And then you have the 2 newcomers. Wheeler checks in at the number 9 spot with a 64-0 win over Booker. And Sudan, the Hornets, are into the top 10 with a 37-27 win over Olton. Into the 6-man ranks. In 1A, top 8 in 1A Division 1, unchanged. Rankin, Jonesboro, Borden County, Sterling City, Union Hill, White Deer, May, Lakey, all unchanged. Lakey was idle in this one, but everyone else was a pretty big winner. Rankin, of course, had that really impressive win over Balmorhea. The bottom 2, though, we have some changes. Happy vaults into the top 10 with a 68-20 win over Groom and the defending 1A Division II champs.
Blum.
The Blum Bobcats are back in the top 10. They beat Aquila 56-6. They are number 10 in Dave Campbell's Texas football. 1A Division II. Balmorhea suffers a loss to Rankin, but our rankings think that they are still the number 1 team in 1A Division II. They remain unchanged. Calvert suffers a close loss to Borden County. They are up a spot to number 2 despite the 0-1 loss. Richland Springs was idle. They move up a spot courtesy of some movement ahead of them. Strawn drops a heartbreaker to White Deer. They're down 2 spots to number 5, or rather they're up 2 spots to number 5. One thing to remember, a lot of these losses are to Division I squads. We just talked with Granger Huntress about that. Blackwell loses to Eden in a heartbreaker, but they remain static at number 6. Into the top 10, Klondike at number 8. They beat McLean 52-6. Great win for them. Motley County drops from number 2 to number 9 after their loss to Westbrook. And Oakwood moves into the top 10 despite being idle. They basically, a lot of teams in front of them lost. So sometimes if you just don't lose, things are good there. In the private school ranks, basically there was only one game among ranked teams. Bastrop Tribe Consolidated beat Bryan Christian Homeschool 46-0. They remain unchanged. As a result, the private school rankings are unchanged. None of our top 10 teams, none of our top 5 teams in the private school ranks at the 11-man or the 6-man level played outside of Bastrop Tribe Consolidated. Though the private school ranks are they're kind of stagger start over the next couple of weeks. We'll keep you posted on that, but we wanted to put these up here so you guys can see them. Of course, you can now find the rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings. Make sure you check those out. They are available to everybody. That's texasfootball.com/rankings. Of course, the official rankings of record for Texas high school football.